Welcome in. I am CBG, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. Engage with me. Click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live on the YouTubes. Guys, just a reminder, I'm doing double duty today. You're going to get a little double dose of CBG. So I'm doing the live stream right now. And then later today, I will be partaking in the spaces at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will also, I didn't realize when this individual had reached out to me that when I said I was available for 2 time slots, I'd be on both space time slots. So I will also be participating in the spaces tomorrow. So I'll make sure to retweet that. But I hope to see some of you there. It'll be interesting to see the direction of the conversation and what value I can add to the conversation. But looking forward to it. You know, I've often shared with you guys that collaboration within the space is something that I've tried to prioritize. It's been challenging for a variety of reasons based on my own schedule, based on others' schedules. I honestly wish I had more time, because if I did, I would be collaborating with a lot more people in the space. But someday, be patient, be patient, be patient. Someday. Guys, I'm actually enjoying the last bit of the first wine I ever bought from Wisconsin. If you remember, several weeks back, goes to show you how little I'm drinking. Several weeks back, I had popped this open and mentioned to you on my flight back, actually. This is my flight back. On a work trip from Wisconsin, I purchased a bottle of wine, finishing that up right now. If you guys want to join me for a little drink, a little toast to a little, you got a little bit of green in the market right now. You know, it's been a little bit dismal. Now, Todd, by the way, super chats are never expected, but always appreciated, my friend. Showing the love out there. For hitting the thumbs up. Guys, I want to level set with you. It's nice to see some green come into the market. It feels like it's been very stagnant and red. Again, I'm not anticipating anything monumental in the next several weeks, right? Let's take a little victory lap on having a green day. Makes us feel a little bit good, probably. But I really don't anticipate anything monumental. I don't think we're going to close over 61.8. What we're looking for, just as a recap here, is we're looking for price action to get above and stay above 61.8. You might say to me, well, if you're telling me 61.8 CBG, why is your next line up here? Why is your next target between 63.8 and 68,000? If you wanted to, you could draw it like this. But it has to do with other price confluence and where this 200 simple moving average is at, primarily where the 200 simple moving average is at. Yes, clearing and staying above 61.8 is really that next big thing we need to look for. But I'm really waiting to see when we begin consolidating in this area. Again, actually something we should revisit. I think maybe we can take a look at it on the live stream right now is I'm going to be very anxious to see how the 2-month candlestick close looks in the month of August. So that is a very critical view to understand. So once the month of August closes out, not only will there be a monthly close, there'll be a 2-month candlestick close. It's something that we have spoken about several times in the past. We haven't revisited it recently. We can take a look at it in a moment here. But as you recall, let's pull it up right now as I'm talking about it. As you recall, one of the things we were examining, let's see, 2-month motherfuckers. Todd, you're the shit. Todd, by the way, do you follow me? Do you follow me on X? Are you on X? I'm trying to figure out who you are. Right now, this is looking good. So, as we had mentioned on the 2-month candlestick close, you can see that right here we had a gravestone doji, right? This is something that we had spoken about a couple months prior. And the question we're trying to answer is the downside that was signaled by this gravestone doji candlestick. You know, that was a big indicator to us that we'd see some degree of downside, that we'd see some sort of a correction, right? Is the correction over? Have we bottomed here? I would say yes. I've been saying that, but we have to be patient and wait. The formation of this candlestick will tell us a lot. Now, the most ideal thing that we would love to see would be, very simply stated, the body of this candle, this 2-month candlestick, will be green. That's the most bullish thing that we could see. And in order to get a green 2-month close, we would need to close above the opening price of the candlestick, which is at 62,676. So if we can get a close around 62,700, which is not far away from where we're at. I mean, we're only talking about $1,300 from where we're at right now. So if we could somehow manage within the next, are there 30 days in August? 31. So a lot can happen in 10 days. A lot can happen in 10 days in crypto. But if we can manage to push up here and sustain price levels somewhere up in here, above 62,700, what that would result in is a couple things. One, the candlestick here would turn green. The body would be green, okay? That would likely, based on the formation of the candlestick, signal to us that our bottom is in. The other thing let's take a look at price indicators. The other thing that it would signal to us, is there anything that would signal to us? Well, the MACD would continue to look very impressive. The RSI would likely push up a lot closer to 70, and the stochastic RSI would stay healthy. So we got 10 days here. We're just going to have to remain patient and see how this thing closes out. But let's take a look at the monthly real quick. Let's flip this to a monthly view and see how we're looking. Ooh, I saw someone drop on and then drop off. They're like, oh, God. Yeah, so again, if we can close, where did we open this month? Now, this is a monthly view, so the opening price on this candlestick will look different than a 2-month candlestick, okay? So we opened here at 64,600. For this candlestick to turn green, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. The main thing that I am keeping in mind with this candle, this should actually be green. I don't know why this is red. The main thing I'm looking for on a monthly close, once we flip to a monthly close, is a close at or above this line, which is at 61,000, approximately 300. Okay? 61,300 is a major area of price confluence. Guys, I'm going to stress to you, look. I was thinking about a few things that I wanted to articulate in today's live stream for you, and I'll probably say some of the same on the spaces later. But here's another way to articulate much of what I have shared with you in the past. If you have done your due diligence, you've put in the work, you've studied hard, you know technical analysis, you've studied market cycles, and in my case, liquidity cycle, and basically you've poured all this time and effort into understanding the market, and what that has resulted in is a high time frame view, an HTF, high time frame view of what you're anticipating to play out in the many months to come. What that results in is the current price action being noise. Whatever happens between here and there, it's fucking noise. That's all it is. This wibbly wobbly of price action, this sideways, doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't faze me. The reason it doesn't faze me is because I have a hypothesis on a high time frame view. That still has many months to play out, right? And nothing has invalidated that view. It would be different if I objectively evaluated charts that I've shared with you guys and I'm like, this is starting to break down, this is starting to break down. Yeah, then you have to change your view. You have to evolve with the charts, right? I'll keep coming back to Casper, right? Casper had bullish divergence. It looked like it was consolidating. It was going to break up. We had to reformulate our view based on the breakdown. We broke down from over 3 cents. It's trying to maintain prices above a penny, okay? It's not doing well. But we evolved our view based on the emerging price data. That's what someone who is educated and logical does. You're going to evolve your views based on the data. It's the same thing I do at work. It's the same thing that I do here. So because there has been nothing that has invalidated my view, I want to make it crystal clear to you that all of this is noise to me. It's noise to me in the grander scheme of what I anticipate to play out. This price action that's been going on since March, this price action right here is what weeds people out. What'll happen is, and you can come back and tell me if I'm wrong in time. What will happen is people will tell you when Bitcoin does break $100,000, and we're well up into here, okay, wherever we top out at, right? People will tell you it was obvious looking back here. But what you're realizing right now, that if that scenario does indeed play out, this is not obvious. When you're in the heat of the moment and you're evaluating price action taking place on a day-to-day basis, man, if you are, especially in such a volatile industry like this, an asset place to invest, if you are not grounded on education, if you're not grounded on logic, objective views using technical analysis as sort of your guiding point, if that's not how you're formulating your views, you are going to get so twisted and turned based on your emotions. It's only human. I'm a very emotional person. I'm actually a very emotional person. I'm not going to get into my personal life, but I'm a pretty emotional person. If I allowed my emotions to control everything that I did in life, I would make some pretty poor decisions. You have to, especially when it comes to finance and education, finance and investing, you have to instill education and assess things from an objective view. That is what will lead to a higher success rate for you. So again, nothing has changed. This is just volatility. We've been consolidating at a range we couldn't maintain several years back. It should be a bullish signal to you. It's a lot of the same messaging that I've signaled to you guys, and nothing has changed. We're just seeing an up day today. Maybe we'll see a down day tomorrow. I'm not anticipating anything monumental, like I said, in the next 5 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks, okay? Maybe 6 weeks. But there are key things that I've pointed out to you that we do want to watch for when this month closes out, okay? And I'm not as much focused on the 1 month. I'm more focused on the 2 month, right? And the reason for that, actually, maybe I should hit on this point. So long as we close above 61.3, okay, fine. But the 2 month is really, for me, where it's at. And the reason is because not only is it a higher time frame view, we had the gravestone doji. We want a candlestick to come in at the close of August that tells us with conviction that the low is in, right? And what we can expect more than likely are higher highs and higher lows to come into the market. This candlestick is going to be a key indicator of our view on that. If I am correct, okay, because I've been correct many times and I've been incorrect many times, okay? If I am correct that the fourth quarter of this year is going to be very good for Bitcoin and lead into some very solid movements for altcoins going into 2025, we need this candlestick to tell us that, okay? And when do we actually close out the month? Ooh, do we want to do a Saturday night live stream? We close out the 2 month view on a Saturday at 8 p.m. on the 31st. I'm going to have to keep that in mind. Maybe I will do a live stream if you guys want to geek out with me on a Saturday night. What the hell else do I have going on? I'm not going to make my life sound more exciting than what it is. We can do a live stream on a Saturday. I'll have to consider that because it is a pretty important monthly close. Setting up for this 2 month close. Let me get to the comments here before I get to this chart. But I did, one of the things we haven't looked at how the weekly closed. I wanted to do something different on Monday. I hope you caught that live stream on Monday and you appreciated that we did something different and we sort of looked at a cyclical view of price action and what we can expect and why. Spent a great deal of time going over that in the live stream. But before we get into the weekly and the 2 week, because we do want to assess a few things that we've spoken to on here, Let me see who I got. Juan, I can always count on you. Thank you so much for dropping by, my friend. Raghorn, good to see you. Today is not TA Q&A, my friend, so we will see if we have time, and you should know this. You are a frequent viewer. You know Tuesdays and Thursdays. Speaking of a Solana DEX, I'll hit on this real quick. Good transition point, by the way. I took the majority of my profits in Synapse, the trade that I had, that I signaled to you. I am currently in a trade with an average entry price of $2.08. I am in Orca, okay? Now, the zone for my trade that I'm initially targeting on taking profits is between 250 and all the way up at 320. So you're talking about a trade I am in. I think I have a great entry. We'll see if that comes true. But you're talking about upside of 15 to almost 50%. Okay? So something perhaps, I was considering this, something perhaps I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this. So, because I don't want to give people the wrong impression, but I took, if you recall, I started a new job recently, and I took part of that signing bonus that I got with that job and put it specifically into crypto for trading. And so far, I've returned a little bit more than a 50% profit on that amount. I'm considering updating you on how that looks, but part of me doesn't want to do that because I don't want to give the false impression that I'm some sort of day trader, because I'm not a day trader. But just for fun, I don't know. I'll consider it. But so far, I'm up over 50%. It's close to 60% actually, so doing pretty well. Okay, so getting back to the charts here, one of the things that we did want to talk about here, or two of the things that we did want to talk about, good wine from Wisconsin, is how the weekly is shaping up and how the 2-week is shaping up, okay? And there were a couple key things that we talked about. So, you know, sometimes, quite frankly, it's a little bit hard for me to recollect what we spoke about. I'm seeing a lot of people join. Thank you so much. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. I need it. Unfortunately, YouTube does not help to spread my content just based on how many people show up to watch the content. You literally have to click thumbs up to help spread this out to more people, and I'd appreciate it. I have a very small channel. I forget what the hell I was talking about here, but let's assess price action. So one of the things we were watching for, one of the key things we were watching for in this chart was a turnaround in momentum, okay? There's a few things that told us we were losing momentum on the weekly chart. Let's not even focus on the RSI. Well, I guess we can focus on the RSI. We can focus on a lot of things. First off, the stochastic RSI had a cross down and it went below 20. When we start to get below 20, that's when a lot of that momentum within a chart that you're evaluating begins to peter off, right? So we had this cross below 20 all the way back here in April, and ever since then we've been going back and forth. We got a cross up above 20, which is bullish. We went back below 20, which is bearish. And now, with this weekly close, what we're trying to reestablish is getting back into bullish territory on the stochastic RSI. If we can get this stochastic RSI to close above 20, it's going to, historically speaking, we have a very high probability of seeing continued price action to the upside. So very good to see. Now, one of the more concerning views that I've shared with you, okay, there haven't been many concerning views. There was the 3-day view we looked at where we saw price action closing below the 50 simple moving average. No, we don't want that. That is historically not good. That was one concerning view. The other concerning view is this declining relative strength index that we're seeing. Much like price action, you can draw patterns and you can draw areas of resistance and support on your relative strength index. It works very similar to price action. And what we're seeing right now is, I mean, I don't think I need to paint this out for you, right? We got lower highs coming in here, and we also have lower lows up until this point. So the question is, can we start to pierce below here and churn up and invalidate these lower highs? Keep in mind, one of the things that I've signaled to you that I'm going to be looking for on this chart is when Bitcoin breaks up towards that $85,000 to $92,000 area when I think altcoins are going to go fucking ballistic, okay? When that happens, where is the relative strength index? Are we creating a lower high and now all of a sudden we have negative divergence on the RSI, which would not be good? Or are we creating a level which is at least as high as our prior all-time high on the relative strength index as of recent? So the RSI is all the way up here at 88. It's got to do a lot of work to get up there and start breaking above 89. And then the MACD. The other thing I would point out on the weekly is, again, we a lot of the movement in the MACD, you can look at the shape of these lines here, and you can also check out the histogram. We're sort of bipolar here. We're trying to, do we want to go down? Do we want to level out? We're trying to find our bearings. And that's why, realistically, looking at this chart, we're not going to see a cross up on the MACD on the weekly, which historically has signaled bullish price action. We're not going to see that until more than likely October. We might see it in September. This is going to take several weeks to level out. And that's why, as long as you can be realistic and evaluate these charts in a manner that is logical and level-headed, it paints an accurate picture for you in terms of what you can expect moving down the road. Okay, we're not going to see some sort of a bullish cross here next week. It's not realistic. We have to wait a few weeks. We just have to be patient. Price action. Apparently, I had painted out this area, so we'll just stick with that. We're just sort of in this zone here. Let's take a look at the 2-week. I know on the 2-week, one of the things we wanted to evaluate on the 2-week is much similar is the stochastic RSI cross. I know that was one of the big things. One of the other things I signaled to you that was not a great thing, we had a bearish engulfing candle here, right? So, bearish engulfing candles, especially this is a high time frame chart. This is a 2-week chart. Not good. This signals potential more downside, right? Now, how much downside? It doesn't mean, let me make sure that I explain this well. Just because there's a bearish engulfing candle here it does not mean we're going to take out the low down here at 49,000. That's not what it means, okay? What it does mean is there's a higher probability for further downside. How low the downside is anyone's educated guess, but there's just more risk to the downside. Okay, hopefully that hits home. Makes sense. But we're sort of in this broadening wedge here. There's a couple charts that show this. What I want to do is take a look at the stochastic RSI with you. So historically, and we can look at the chart to see this. I mean, you can see it here with price action here. You can see it here with price action here. You can most certainly see it back in 2020 here with price action here. Historically, when the stochastic RSI closes above 20, it is a big bullish indicator for us, guys, on the 2-week. Do not lose sight of this chart. This is one of these really important charts that you want to keep an eye on. The 2-week Bitcoin chart, focusing on the stochastic RSI and when it's above or below 20, right? And specifically, in this case, when it starts to break back above 20 after it's been below it, right? That historically does not mean immediately you're going to see prices going up 100%. But what it does tell you with a high degree of conviction and confidence is more than likely we're going to see much higher upside, okay? So we want to see how this 2-week candlestick closes out. This thing is not set to close until, it's set to close this week. So we'll have to see. My best guess based on current price action is you're going to see the stochastic RSI get closer to the 20 mark. Maybe we're right around 15, and then we're going to have to wait for that next, the next 2 to 4 weeks to let this thing cross above 20. So we'll just have to remain patient. Ugos, welcome into the live stream. Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see you stop by. What's everyone having? Is anyone on the East Coast here? What's everyone having for dinner after the live stream? I am grilling up on my Ninja air fryer griller. I am grilling up some marinated tilapia, and some mahi-mahi. That is what I'm having. And I marinated it with a little bit of olive oil and citrus, some lime, some lemon, some Italian spices in there, and sea salt. So looking forward to it. And then some asparagus. That is my dinner this evening. What's everybody having for dinner? Share. I'm a foodie. I love hearing about food. What else? Do you guys have any questions for me there? You know what? I'll take a TA question because there really wasn't too much else I wanted to cover. Let's take a look at the DXY actually really quick here. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Probably looks bearish. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is great. We're starting to break below this area of price confluence I have drawn out here at 101, 102. DXY is all the way down here at, where are we at? 101. 101.17. Sounds like a radio station. 101.17. Philadelphia Sports Radio. We're closing below this level, which was approximately a little bit above it, 101.3. So, again, the weakness in the DXY on the Dixie is very good for us, very bullish for the risk on assets that we hold. It's very interesting. Has anyone noticed? I'm just curious. Anyone listening, please. How long did I marinate? Let me answer this question first. This is a critical question. I won't forget what I was about to ask you. I didn't marinate that long. I honestly only marinated since early morning. It was in the fridge, and then before the live stream. And this is an important point. Before you grill something or cook something, fish, meat of any kind, you don't want it at a refrigerator temperature. You want it more at room temperature because it increases the amount of dryness within that meat if you cook it while it's cold. So it's been marinating in the fridge. It's now been sitting out. I actually sat it out well before the live stream at about 4 o'clock. So sitting out there for a couple hours and then grilling it up. So marinating it overnight would have been even better, but didn't have the opportunity or didn't think of it. Okay, going back to the point that I was going to make, has anyone noticed that there have been calls for a huge recession and a huge downturn in the market, okay, since back in here? Has anyone noticed that? This is 2022, by the way, if you can't read. 2022, if you can't see that while you're viewing, or if you're just listening to me, which I can appreciate, because I do that quite frequently. So has anyone noticed that since mid to late 2022, everyone has called for a massive recession? And has anyone noticed that all we've done is continued to move up? Has anyone noticed that? Well, we're getting the same calls right now. And what I find interesting, okay, broken clock is correct twice a day. What I find interesting is amidst the panic and amidst the emotional state of affairs, everyone is bearish at the point where there are so many charts that I've spoken to that are lining up that tell us based on history that we're about to see a massive run up in the market. Has anyone noticed this? This is how the market weeds you out. Guys, let me point to another chart that kind of signals what I'm saying here, okay? If we go to the Bitcoin dominance chart, you guys are probably really sick and tired of me talking about the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? Or if you go to other technical analysts, they're like, yeah, we got a rising wedge. In fact, it looks like we're breaking above the rising wedge, all right? We got this rising wedge here. It looks like we're breaking above it. We're right in the zone you talked about, CBG. We all know about 58%. This motherfucker keeps going up. There is no alt season. Guys, this isn't about a Bitcoin dominance thing. This is about a basic technical analysis thing. Rising wedges indicate a loss of momentum and an eventual, did you hear that word? Eventual downturn in the market. It doesn't mean that I can predict to you that it's happening here. It doesn't mean I can predict to you it's happening here, or right here. But what it does tell you is because this pattern is present, the likelihood is that we're going to see a big move down, okay? And then the question you have to ask yourself is, well, in this case, if a falling wedge on a Bitcoin dominance chart breaks down, what does that signify for the rest of the market? And the only way to tell you that is to look at past times this has happened. And the past times we have seen massive drops in Bitcoin dominance, well, that was 2017 going into the beginning of 18. That was 2020 going into 2021. And those were massive, 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 massive altcoin seasons. Okay? So again, I'm just using objective data. I'm not sharing with you what I hope to see happen. I'm literally interpreting the data to tell you what is most likely. It's not a certainty. This chart could completely fall apart. This could do the least, look, this could move in the least probabilistic direction. You know what this chart could do if it wanted to? No reason it couldn't. I don't know what the probability is associated with it. Maybe it's a 20% probability. Sure, there's a 20% probability we just do like this. But there's perhaps an 80% probability that we do this. So which side of the spectrum do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the 20% probability or the 80% probability? I don't know. I'm not a gambler, but you can make that assessment for yourself. All right, we did have a TA question come in. I am up against time. We're actually at 30 minutes. But because I am feeling quite generous today, and by the way, Raghorn, typically I do not take TA questions on Wednesday. So if you want to show me a little love, and if you haven't hit the thumbs up, which you are a returning viewer, so I'm sure you have, but perhaps you can encourage others to hit the thumbs up. I will go ahead and I will do what I typically don't do on a Wednesday. And I will actually, I'll do a live TA Q&A session here. So let's take a look. What chart would you like me to look at? Can you chart Falx? Okay. So unfamiliar with the project. Apparently it is a decentralized exchange on Solana or a DEX. There's no price data here, so this is going to be a tough one. So what I would first tell you, Raghorn, you should know this. There's very limited price data, so I'm not going to go more granular than a 12-day. But what I would say is, okay, no bullish. I'll go to a 12-hour. You know what? I'll cut this chart in half. Or I should say I'll double it. Okay, so let's look at the best thing I could provide you with on a chart like this that has limited price data is I can share with you what I see. We're not looking at price indicators. It's not worth it. What I can say about price action or the price chart in terms of horizontal areas of support and resistance. So let's see what color comes up first. Are we getting red or green? Okay, green. Let's go to support. So we have a floor established right there around, I'm not going to interpret this chart. There's a lot of zeros there, like 3 zeros. Thank you, Raghorn. I see you, my fellow crypto brother. I shouldn't assume you're a crypto brother. Maybe you're a crypto mother. I don't know. But you're a crypto brother. We'll just keep it at that. I don't know how many zeros are here, but we're going to say it's just 2.8 cents, okay, just to keep it easy. So 2.8 cents down here is our floor. There's really a zone because, again, one wick is not enough for price confluence. I like hitting the bodies up here. When the bodies hit the floor. When the bodies hit the floor, you know that song? Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Drowning Pool. It's a damn good workout song. It's a good Drowning Pool. Let the Bodies Hit the Floor is a good deadlifting back squat day, which, by the way, I still have not been able to get back into deadlifts and back squats. I have this annoying, it's a slight strain. It's ever so slight. It doesn't really bother me too much, but man, I got to let it heal up, and it's frustrating. I have not been able to deadlift for the past couple weeks. It's been frustrating as fuck. Anyway, there is a zone here between 3 cents and 2.8 cents, okay? Other areas of clear support, I like this right here. We stepped here. Yeah, you can see it acted as resistance. Now, okay, so main areas, I don't want to muddy this chart up too much. Main areas would be, all the way down here at 3 cents and 2.8 cents, as well as 4.7 cents and 5.4 cents. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, keep in mind, Raghorn, one thing I would caution you, I don't know if you're an investor or a trader. One thing I would caution you on here is that this has had a significant move up. And my guess is this is a low market cap. I think you said that in your comment. This is a very low market cap. And these things have a way of, I'm not saying this can't continue to fly to the upside. Keep in mind, I want to give you a visual here, okay? Keep in mind that if you're trading this, bulls make money and pigs get slaughtered. You have already, if you got it at the exact bottom, 200% upside, okay? 200% upside since the very bottom. This thing has got to cool off at some point. And what I'm sharing with you is logically, if it were to cool off at this point, it's going to get rejected somewhere at this area and come all the way back down into this area if it is to cool off, okay? Other areas of resistance, right there, yeah, that's a heavy zone. That's a heavy zone. So it's going to be real tough. This zone right here. So Raghorn, what you can do is, if you'd like to reevaluate the chart with me, come back and bring this chart up again when we're in one of two areas. When we start holding this area as support, now I'm not talking about a wick, you know this. If we start to hold this area as support, so I'll put it in green, let's have a conversation. If we start coming back to this area, which I view as if you're bullish on this, I would view this as a great area to buy. Let's revisit. But these are kind of the two main areas, right? Just depends the strength of the move. There's no reason. Let me just make sure I'm articulate. Articulate is the word of the day. Let me make sure I'm articulating this correctly. There's no reason this chart can't do this and continue up. What I'm trying to tell you is it's had a 200% move to the upside since the Pico bottom, okay? And so, to me, there's a lot of risk here assuming this is going to continue to go up. If I had to take an educated guess, I would say more than likely this needs to cool off, it gets somewhere in this zone and then continues up. So that's my honest view on the chart. Guys, I will be on Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, later today. Make sure to look out for me at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in 68 minutes. So I need to have myself some dinner. I'm doing double duty today, so I hope that some of you can catch that. And I will be back here for tomorrow for a TA Q&A segment. Given the abysmal price action that we've had lately, we had a little bit of green today. Chances are we're going to have a little bit of red tomorrow, and it's going to be very low engagement tomorrow. So I'm preparing myself. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Try to make this a little as engaging as it was today. And until next time, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, everybody.